themselves about the Durand line and the issue of Greater Pashtunistan.
Okay. Let us talk about J.S. Mill and John Rawls. Whose political philosophy, any principle which inspires you to be a better civil servant? And what is that principle?
Sir, for John Rawls, I think the theory of justice and the veil of ignorance that he mentioned is a good step to dispense justice without looking at the race, religion, caste or place of birth of any individual.
Now, people say caste census is a good idea. I feel that Human Development Index census is a better idea, so that we know exactly what, without caste and bringing in back to caste system, we are going to a progressive step, Human Development Index, like Dr. Amartya Sen and all talking about. Why don't we do that?
Sir, I also am advocating the same idea which you mentioned, and the multidimensional poverty index of Niti Aayog is a little step in that direction.
Okay, very good. FRBM Act, why it is required and why we should control the deficit. US is not controlling its deficit to the extent we are doing. Why, if US is progressive, the strongest economy, why can't we also have more deficit than FRBM Act prescribes?
So the recent debates about the US debt shows that there are certain issues if the debt is increased beyond a particular ceiling. So therefore India's ceiling in the FRBM Act according to me is quite appropriate, because if there is too much debt, then the future generation would suffer, as most of the finance and revenues would go in the debt financing.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Garg,
Yes.
what is this INDC commitments?
So the INDC commitments are after the Paris Climate Accord, where countries found out that voluntary targets would be better for ensuring that there is some steps taken towards climate change.
So what does INDC stand for?
Sir, it is intended nationally determined contributions.
So any figures have been fixed by the government as far as INDC is concerned?
So the Indian government has fixed certain INDCs. However, after every 5 years,
No,
there
like
is
what?
Sir, we have targeted that our non-renewable energy would be 50%. Also, we have to establish the carbon sink of 1 billion tons. So there is also INDC that we have to reach for the net zero targets till 2070.
So you said you have done some paper or study on water crisis in Jaipur.
Yes, sir.
What do you know about the water crisis as a whole in the country? Is there a water crisis?
Yes, sir. Sir, as per the Composite Water Management Index of Niti Aayog, about 600 million Indians are facing severe water depression and water crisis.
So what is the remedy?
So there are steps to be taken at multiple levels. Firstly, the government is trying to link rivers, for example, the Ken-Betwa river linking project, to supply water from water surplus to water deficit areas. Sir, secondly, there is also a requirement of replenishing the underground water, which is done by the Jal Jeevan mission of the government. Sir, thirdly, to supply piped water to each household, which is a government step under the Ministry of Jal Shakti, is also a good step. Sir, as another step, I would like to mention that there should be forestation